Someone asked me this morning, what do we know right now with how long these vaccines are lasting? How long do we get immunity, Professor?
Well, this is a great question. And, it is not so far away from the time we've started to vaccinate, so hard to know. But all things look pretty good, in my view, that these vaccines are going to last years. Because, why do I say that? When you get these vaccines, you make a really good immune response. It's strong, it's high, and even though that's going to slowly go down over time, over months and years, you have memory. Your body makes a memory immune response. And so if you ever encounter the virus again, it's going to quickly pull out the cells that it needs to make an immune response. So I think years is the answer, just like many other vaccines. The real key is whether the virus will change enough to get around it. That happens with influenza, right? Every year or so, the virus changes a bit. We have to reformulate the vaccine. It may be that we have to do that with COVID vaccines, but I do think that these vaccines in themselves, I'm talking about the ones we're using here in the U.S. mainly, they're going to give you many years of immunity. I think it's a really good thing.
That's wonderful. Scientifically, is natural immunity or immunity from getting the disease yourself and then recovering from it, is that going to be as strong as a vaccine or less strong?
It really depends on the virus. Some viruses give you lifelong immunity, and the vaccines that we have made give you lifelong immunity. For influenza, the vaccines we have don't give you lifelong immunity. They're not the best vaccines. We need to improve them, and maybe we need to take a page from the COVID playbook for those. So it really depends on the virus.
It says study, children show strongest immune response to COVID-19. Do you find that to be true?
I think, kids are, once you're in your teens and so forth, you've got a good immune system. It's all developed. You no longer depend on your mother's, obviously. And you're young, your cells are good, your bone marrow is good. That's the best time for making an immune response. It only goes down from there, as I like to say.
What does your bone marrow have to do with it?
The bone marrow contains cells that are the precursor of all your immune cells, the immune cells, and they're continually being replenished. And if you have an infection, the bone marrow is alerted, say, hey, we need more cells, and they begin to make them, and they come out into the blood.
What are you talking about, Professor? Your bone marrow? Why would your bone marrow have anything to do with it? What's the science behind that?
Oh, these are called stem cells, right? They're in there. They're the precursors of all of the components of the blood in the immune response. That's where we store them, because the cells in the blood, like the B cells and the T cells that are fighting infections, they don't live forever. And so you have to go back to the source, which is the bone marrow. And that's why as you get older, you have less and less bone marrow. You have a harder time making an immune response.
Wow. That was deep and insightful. I want more of that. Like, subscribe, get more.